Hi everyone, it's Nexus of Thought. I want to talk about the World Cup. So we've finally got to the last eight of the World Cup, and there are four intriguing challenges that lie ahead of us. The first one is going to be France against Morocco. Now, I think the French are probably the favorites in this one, and I expect them to go through, but it's not going to be an easy game. Morocco is far and away the best African nation in the World Cup, and indeed one of the best footballing nations currently in the world. And I think they'll give the French a tough time. It'll probably be either a one-goal win by the French or so something like 2-1. But I do expect that the Moroccans will score a goal and make things quite difficult for the French. The French have played very well in the World Cup so far. Yes, they did struggle against Paraguay, but that wasn't so much due to poor French play, but it was more to Paraguay playing a type of anti-football. But I think Mbappe and co are going to be too motivated. They've got, and France has got way too a surplus of weapons, Dembele, Dure, Barcola, etc., that they'll eventually find a way of getting past Morocco. England against Norway. So England have not really risen to the occasion as much as I would have hoped that they put in an incredibly brave performance against Mexico. But even when they were down to 11 men, I know they were at one point they were up 2 goals, actually 2 points. They were up 2 goals against the Mexicans. But really, the Mexicans were playing the better football for most of that, and England were getting the goals on the breaks. So they're going to have to up their game quite a bit. Mexico really was a good wake up call for England. But when England played against Panama and against uh, Dr. Congo, when they played against both of those teams, they didn't really look that great. And they could quite easily have lost the game, particularly against Congo. So they're going to have to move it up a different level, and the whole emphasis that they're going to have to do is to try and make sure that they limit the Odegaard to Haaland or the wings to Haaland supply lines. And so you're going to need a very, very strong effort by Declan Rice, by Elliot Anderson, and maybe they're going to have to juggle their defense around, play Stones there as an auxiliary, go with perhaps a three at the back to make sure that the defense is very, very solid and that Haaland is shackled, because Haaland is key to that. But I think England's going to find a way. Haaland is not an unknown entity in the English game. Players know how to play against him. He's still arguably the best finisher in the world, and he might get a goal. But I think England can control it. Jude Bellingham has been England's best player in this World Cup, and I think he will step up to the plate again, together with Harry Kane, and they'll make things happen, which will work in England's favour. So I expect England to get through this one. Again, it'll probably be a tough call, maybe somewhere along the lines of 2-1. I just don't know if England have the ability to keep a clean sheet, but I think they can beat Norway. They're in the fortunate position that they don't have to play Brazil, because I think Brazilian flair might make it quite difficult for England in a game like this. But I think Norway, I think, is a team that they can handle. Spain against Belgium. This is the one where I posit that there may be an upset, just because of the way Belgium got it all together against the United States, and Spain for large portions of the game against Portugal looked kind of anemic. I find the Spanish way of playing football at this particular World Cup to be incredibly boring. They did well because Portugal were even more um, detrimental to the eye than Spain were. But I think maybe the Belgians can pull off an upset this time. I think they've got a great goalie in Courtois, and I think they have some. They were showing a lot of ingenuity against Americans, and I think that might come through. So I'm going to go with a very narrow Belgium win on this one, perhaps something like 1-0, because Spain are a very, very difficult team to score against. And so the Belgians are going to have to be extra alert in their defense to shut out the Spanish. But I think they may have some tricks up their sleeve and can maybe beat the Spanish. But that's my head speaking a little bit. My heart speaking a little bit. My head thinks maybe the Spanish will just plow through them. But let's put it all down. I'll go with a Belgium upset on this one. And finally, the last one, Argentina against Switzerland. Argentina have been incredibly lucky. They were very lucky they could have lost against Cape Verde. They could have, and they should have probably lost against Egypt. Um, but they have the weapons to score the goals when it counts, and I think that will prove too much for the Swiss. The Swiss are a workman team. They've been very, very effective in what they've done. They are kind of like the Spanish with less flair, but they don't give up too many cheap goals, although they did give up one against Qatar, and they play very, very, very solid football. But I think the Argentinians will beat them. So that will be my final four. My final four will be France, England, uh, Belgium, and Argentina. Then what actually goes on from there? I expect the French to beat England. I don't think England has the power to beat the French. I don't think they have the wherewithal. They have some good players, but France is a bit strong, I think so. I'm picking France to go past England in the one semi-final, and in the other semi-final, I think Argentina will be too much for Belgium, and the Messi factor is going to work in their favor again. And so I think you'll set it up for a France versus uh, Argentina rematch from the last World Cup. But I think this time the French are going to have the script on their side, and they will pull it off. All right. What's quite interesting are some of the subplots that exist right now in football between Kane, Mbappe, and Messi as to who's going to win the scoring title. I think Mbappe's going to shade it. I do think he's going to shade it. I think he's going to. I think he's going to score some critical goals. He may even push Just Fontaine for the record of the most goals scored in a World Cup. That may play a role. It also helps that there are way more matches now than they used. Well, not way more, but there are more matches now than there used to be when Fontaine did this in 1958. But it'll be curious to see who wins the Golden Boot. Anyway, the competition's been great. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and we'll chat later. Bye.